Yay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. We are going to give you kind of a quick tour of Canvas and talk about some of the main features that you'll be using to set up your course, prepare for the semester, and then teach during the semester. So we are going to be recording this session so that if we have some people who weren't able to join us, they'll be able to view this as well. By the way, I'm Sherry Phelan. I'm Dean for Online Learning.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Bilderback. I'm Director for Online Learning.
Katia Andrews, Instructional Technology Coordinator. Gerald, would you like to introduce yourself? We have Gerald joining us from afar.
There he is.
Yeah, sorry. And Gerald Johnson, adjunct faculty coordinator.
All right, so really, like I mentioned, the purpose of our training is just to help you prepare your Canvas course. And again, we're going to cover some of the basic functions. Things like the grade book, what Canvas looks like if you're not familiar with it, and some of those things. As we move forward through the upcoming academic year, we plan to have more trainings. We'll probably do them in a Zoom format, but we may also have some self-paced courses in a special site that we're building in Canvas that will kind of help us. And we'll talk a little bit about where to find some other training and resources as we get farther along. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, so there's a few things that we would like for you to be able to do when we're finished with this training. And that is to first access your course. So hopefully you've been able to do that. Take a look around the classroom. Most of you should have been set up with a sandbox course or something like that. And that's just a place for you to practice and learn how to use the functions. If you want to see what something looks like when you're setting up an assignment or something like that, you can go in there and practice. So we want to kind of talk about the home page. This is where you're going to post your instructor contact information, create a welcome announcement. Oh, did somebody say something? Okay. Create a welcome announcement, set due dates for the modules, practice creating an assignment, discussion, those kinds of things. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We've got a lot of stuff to cover in a short amount of time. We don't want to keep you too long this evening. So as we go through this and you're working in your Canvas course, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Okay, and like Sherry said, some of you should have received your username and a link to access your Canvas account along with the sandbox, which is your practice course. If you have not received that email, or maybe it got put in your drafts or your spam folder, while we're talking today, if you would email me at bilderback@allencc.edu, while one of the other facilitators is talking, I will create your account for you and email you that information. And also I wanted to let you know that tomorrow I will be emailing out this PowerPoint presentation to everyone. We're going to give you guys a ton of information, but we also wanted to provide you with some links and resources so that as you access your class in the coming weeks, if you have questions, you can refer back to it. So expect to have this PowerPoint and a checklist hopefully in your inboxes tomorrow. So the first thing I want to talk about is in Canvas is just kind of the overall navigation and where you're going to find some of the basic functions. So once you log into Canvas, the first page you and your students are going to see is this page. It's your dashboard. So each one of the tiles at the top of the page is a course that you are enrolled in. So for this course, we're going to go ahead and do the demonstration course. And then the first page you're going to see when you access the course is the home page. At the top of the home page, you will always see your most recent 3 announcements. And then underneath that, you will see an image that represents your course content along with the course name and the ID. Under that, you'll see the course description from the Common Course Outline. Then there will be a link to the Get Started Here module, which is a new module we've added to all of our courses, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. And then you'll see the instructor contact information. This is where you will add in your contact information, your photo, and it's a really great place to add a welcome video link. And under that, you'll see our tech support help contact information. So the next page is the announcements page. And this is where you will create your announcements. Super easy to do so. All you have to do is click on the red button. And you'll add a subject to the top. And then just like in Blackboard or your email, you'll have a text box that you'll type in your announcement. You can change the font, you can change the size, bold, underline, all that good stuff. You can also add links, both internally like course links and external links. So say this is your first announcement in the course and you want to make sure they see the syllabus, you can link straight to the syllabus in your announcement. And then you can also add images. So if you want to, again, put your image there, or later down in the class, if you want to add some images about the module that's upcoming, you can do that. You can also add videos. So you can actually record video straight from Canvas. So if you click on this little button and click on record, the camera will pop up and you can record a short video straight from here. This is a really great option for you if you just want to record a short video, kind of talk about the upcoming module, or if something is going on in the news that relates to your course. It's a great time to kind of jump on and kind of do an impromptu lecture, if you will. So once you get all of your stuff in there that you want in your announcements, you'll go down. And I want to mention this little post to all sections. This has caused some confusion with our instructors because Canvas uses the word section differently than we do. When we talk about sections at Allen, we talk about Comp 101, section ZA, and section ZB. And what kind of got confusing was if I select all sections, will that send it to every comp class? No, it will not. Canvas just allows you to break up your Canvas course into smaller sections, something that universities might do called parent-child courses. It's not something that we will probably use. So make sure to leave that default set to all sections and it'll only go to your class. Another feature that Canvas has in the announcements, which is really pretty neat, is a reply feature. You can actually select this, this option down here to allow your students to reply to your announcements. So kind of think of this as maybe an impromptu discussion board, not necessarily an assignment, but just another opportunity for that student-to-student interaction or student-to-teacher interaction. I tried this in my class this semester and had some luck with it, but students aren't quite used to using it yet. So I think the more we have it in our courses, the more they'll use it. But they were able to talk about an assignment that they had just done and kind of share their experiences. So that's kind of a fun feature. So then after you've got your settings set, all you'll do is hit save, and then that will post your announcement and send it to the home page as well. So the next page I want to talk about is the modules page. This is what was called the assignments page basically in Blackboard. And at the top, you'll see our getting started module. The first item you'll see is the start here item. This item will pop up just some informational items for students to really just to kind of get used to taking a class and get started with Allen. So it's a link to the bookstore, a link to the academic honesty policy, a link to the syllabus, things like that. The next item is some tutorial videos on how to access their email account and their Microsoft Office account. So if you have a student who's having trouble submitting their assignments in a Word document, refer them to this video so that they know how to access their My Office account. Then we also have some tutorial videos that we created for students just to show them how to submit an assignment, post on a discussion board, things like that that are just going to look a little different for them than Blackboard did. And then the last one is a link to the academic support page on the website with information on tutoring and the online writing center. And then under that is where modules will start. You'll see at the top, it'll say module 1 and it'll have the title of the module next to it. Then you'll see it has the module overview, the module to-do list, the module resources, and then all of the assignments. You'll notice that the module overview and the to-do list and the resources, those are informational items, so they're going to be left aligned. And anything a student needs to turn in or submit is going to be indented 2 times. That is just a visual cue for our students to know that that's something that needs completed. And then if you look at to the right side of the screen, you'll see a bunch of green check marks. This is an indication that that item is published and students can see it. So if for some reason you need to make a change to an assignment, you need to unpublish it, you can just click the check mark and it'll unpublish that assignment. Or you can actually click the check mark at the top where the modules are and it'll unpublish the whole module and the students will not be able to see that. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to dive a little bit more into what you can expect to see in each individual module. So Rebecca just mentioned at the top is the overview. What the overview is just a little blurb about what the students can expect to learn during this module. This may already be in your course depending on the design of the course and whether the designer built it in there or not, but feel free to personalize it, add any little bit of information from personal experiences in there as well. Next, you'll see the to-do list. As we moved over courses from Blackboard, we tried our best to organize everything in the correct order and make sure all assignments are listed in each module. But we moved a lot of courses, so make sure to double check the to-do list to make sure that all assignments are listed and they are in chronological order. Next, you'll see the module 1 or module resources. And this is just a full page of all of the resources for this particular module, including PowerPoints, videos, and any supplemental materials that are built into the course. Please make sure that all of the links work and all of the videos work in your courses, and make sure that they do link to where you intend the students to go. And then next you'll see all of the assignments in there. And if you want to, make sure that they are published so that all students can access them. Another thing to note is if you have an assignment that you have built but are not wanting to currently use, so you don't have it listed in the modules, but it is listed in the assignments area, make sure that that assignment is unpublished, or students will be able to still access that from their grade center. And those points for that assignment, if it's published, will also be calculated into their grade center. So they won't see an accurate score. Availability and the links. Make sure that all links also in your assignments, not just the resources, but if there's a specific link in the assignments, videos, all of those, make sure that those also work. And if you have any third-party sites such as Pearson or McGraw-Hill, or if you use any of those for your courses, please make sure that all of those links work as well and none of them are broken and they take the students where they need to go. So next, we're going to talk about the Canvas inbox. This is kind of a unique feature to Canvas. In Blackboard, students could go in there and they could send you an email from Blackboard, but they couldn't check their email in there. So this is something that all students and instructors have access to. You can find it in the global navigation over here on the very left. It's called the inbox. And how this works is that you can go to the inbox. Students can also go to the inbox and create a new message. And this really works just like an email system. If a student uses the inbox to send you a message, you will receive an email to your Allen email account. When you get this email, you have a couple options. You can either come into Canvas and reply directly from the inbox in here, or you can reply from your Allen email account. And when you come back into Canvas, it will show your response in the email, and it will show the threads that you responded, even if you reply from your email. The same goes for the students. The students will also receive an email if you send them a message from within the inbox in Canvas. And every time you log in, if you, for some reason, don't get the email, you will see a badge notification over here with a number in it of how many unread inbox messages you have.
Okay, so next we're going to just kind of walk through what it looks like to create an assignment. We're going to get back in our class. Okay, so let's go to module 2, it's fine. And so to do so, all you'll have to do is click on the little plus button right there. And then you'll see a drop-down menu with your different options of what kind of assignment you want to create. You can create just a regular assignment, a quiz. A page is an informational page, so like the to-do list is a page. Discussions, just like in Blackboard, and then the text header is like where the module title is, and then the URL is like the academic support page. It's a link to an external website. So let's create an assignment, and then click create assignment, and then we'll name the assignment. What we try to do when we moved all of our courses over is name every item with the module number, so that when students are moving through the course, they know for sure what module they're in, and it also helps us organize our grade center. And since it is an assignment, we want to indent it 2 times, and then hit add item. And you'll see that it adds the item to the bottom of the module, and it comes in as unpublished. This allows you the chance to build the item before students can see it. So we'll click on the title there and then click on the edit button. And then just like the announcements area, you'll type in your content here. This is where you'll do your instructions, any content information you want to provide the students. And again, you can change the size of font, bold, underline. You can add links, images, the videos again. You can add course documents. And the one thing here that's different is where you add your YouTube links, because a lot of our assignments do have video resources. So you'll click on this little plugin. And the first time that you do this on your computer, this is what you'll see. And so you'll just click on YouTube at the bottom. And then once you do that once, it saves it as a favorite. So then in your search box, this is where you'll either copy and paste your URL from YouTube or type in the name of the video you want. And then you'll just click the little down arrow next to the embed button. And we like to use the embed small. It just helps the thumbnail not be too big and take up too much space, especially if they're on a mobile device. And then you would finish adding in all the rest of your content that the student needs. Then you would go down to points and add the point value for the assignment. And then this next step is really important, the submission type. The default is set to no submission. So if you don't change this, the assignment will appear in the module. Students will see when it's due and how many points it's worth, but they will not actually be able to turn anything in. So you want to make sure you select online. And then this brings up another unique feature to Canvas. You can actually decide what type of document you want students to be able to submit. So you can use a text entry. And this is just if you want them to type something kind of short in a text box. If you're wanting them to upload a document and you only want them to upload it, say as a Word doc, you would hit File, Upload, Restrict Upload Types, and then you could just type in DocX and PDF. And then the students can only submit a Word doc or a PDF. A lot of our instructors have trouble with students maybe trying to upload Google Docs or Apple Pages, and this will help kind of slow down that problem. If a student does try to submit like a Google Doc in this situation, they would get a notification saying that that item was not allowed and would tell them what is allowed. So that's just one way, like our English faculty are kind of excited about this. This way they can only allow Word docs, so they're not trying to grade a 10-page paper in a text entry. So that's kind of unique. The next thing you'll want to do is change the allowed attempts. So you can change it to either unlimited or a specific number. Again, we try to make sure each assignment matched the directions from Blackboard, but again, we did this a lot of times, so double check this on all your settings. And then the next part is to set the due date. So this is just one place where you can set the due date. Katia is going to talk a little bit more later on about due dates, but this is one place where you can definitely set the due date for the assignment. And that's all you would do. Now, another thing that's I think is a lot easier in Canvas than it was in Blackboard is when we had to do an adaptive release. So if the student needed some extra time in a module, we would have to go in and set an adaptive release. This is a really easy way to do that. In Canvas, all you have to do is hit that little add button. And then let's say Katia needed an extra week. We would just select her name, reassign the due date. And then now you'll see at the top, everyone else is due on that date, and then Katia has the due date of May 7th. So I think that's a pretty easy way to do an adaptive release. So then you would just hit save and publish. And then your assignment is ready to go for students. Now, another thing that is maybe not as easy in Canvas as it was in Blackboard is setting or allowing an additional attempt on a test. So I want to walk you guys through that, but know that this is something you might not use for a little while. So if you forget, we've got videos in the PowerPoint presentation, or feel free to email us, and we can walk you through it again. So to allow an additional attempt for a quiz, you'll go into the quizzes, select the quiz that you want to do this with, and then you'll click on the vertical ellipses and click on Show Student Quiz Results. On the right-hand side, you'll see a list of students who have not taken the test. And on the left-hand, these are the students who have taken the test. So we need to allow an additional attempt for the test student. So we'll click on their name. And here you can see what they've attempted so far in the test. And then to allow them an additional attempt, you just click on that gray button on the right, and that will allow them an additional attempt. So like I said, this one's just a little bit more hidden than what it was in Blackboard. So feel free to holler at us when you need to use it, and we'll walk you through those steps. Okay, so the next thing we'll talk about are discussion assignments. When we reconfigured all the Canvas courses, we did bring over all of the discussion boards and built them into Canvas. So to access those, you can either access them in the module or through the discussion button. And then you'll just click on the title of the discussion board you want to access. And then at the top, you'll see this is where the prompt will be for the student and the instructions for them. And to reply, they'll simply just click the reply button. And again, they'll have all these same options that you do, including video. So if you want to have a student do a video discussion board, like for their introduction, they can easily do so in Canvas, and you don't have to use a third-party site to do that. So that's another kind of neat opportunity for the students to get to know each other. So then we just type a reply, click on post reply. And then if I want to reply to what Katia just posted, I would just hit reply under her name. And then it's the same thing, just hit and then hit post reply, and then we're good to go. And one thing that I like to do as an instructor is there's a little button or a little dot next to her picture. And if you click on that, it just shows marked red. So as I'm grading and replying to students, I like to kind of click on that if I'm going to stop and take a break like halfway through, so I know where to start again. So that's just kind of a neat little feature. And then the other thing I wanted to mention too were our journals. Canvas does not have a journal feature like Blackboard did. For the most part, most of our journals in Blackboard were kind of reflection type assignments. So what we did is we pulled in all of those assignments from Blackboard into your Canvas course and just retitled them. So instead of Module 1 journal, it'll say Module 1 reflection. And if you don't like that, or if it doesn't fit, feel free to change the name of it. But we did have to change the name on the assignment name, in the assignment instructions, in the to-do list, and on the course at a glance. So if you do change that, make sure you change it in all of those locations.
So the next thing I'm going to touch on is setting due dates. Rebecca and I touched on how to set a due date for an individual assignment just a little bit ago by going into the actual assignment when you create it, or by editing the assignment. Another way, especially at the beginning of your course, to bulk edit all of the due dates for the assignments is to go into the Assignments tab and then click the vertical ellipses at the top, the menu button, and edit assignment dates. This will give you a complete list of all of the assignments that are in your course, and it'll give you a little calendar here. So if each item in Module 1, you can easily tell that this is Module 1, you just click the little calendar and select what date you want those to be due. And you can also set the availability dates if you want them to open on a certain date and close on a certain date. So this is just a quick and easy way to set all of those dates. A third way that you can edit the dates after they've already been set is to use this calendar feature that's in the global navigation. And students also have this calendar. So it's super helpful if the due dates are actually set in a course, students can see all of their course due dates here in one place. As the instructor, to edit a due date or quickly change a due date, all you have to do is click and drag the assignment to the due date that you want it moved to. So say something happens, you forget about spring break, you need to move it out an extra week. All you have to do is click and drag, and it changes those dates, and you can quickly hover over it and see when those are set for.
Oh, it's my turn. Well, I get to deliver the bad news. The bad news is most of the rubrics did not transfer over from Blackboard into Canvas very well. They're just not, you're just not able to use them. So you will need to go ahead and recreate your rubrics when you get into your Canvas courses and start to prepare them. One of the things I suggest doing, and this is what I've done myself, is actually copy and paste rubric criteria from the Blackboard course into the new rubric in Canvas. And so that's just kind of a quick and easy way. Now, I will say that we are going to probably start limiting access to Blackboard near the end of June. Our Blackboard contract ends in July, and so we need to start getting stuff all taken care of in there. So by the end of June, you need to be sure that you've accessed Blackboard and gotten anything that you want to out of it. Otherwise, it'll be a little bit more difficult to try to get information from there. So anyway, not good news about rubrics, but again, this will help you learn a little bit more about the Canvas rubric tool by getting in there and actually using it and building rubrics in there. Now I'll let you guys add anything you want to about that.
I think that's good.
Okay, what can we say about that?
Okay, Gerald, do you want
Okay.
to talk a little bit about grades? I'll let you share your screen.
Yeah, let me share my screen here. And go down to grades. And then get the test. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the grade book. There are a couple of major differences, and oh, excuse me, I'm in the wrong screen here. A couple of major differences, but I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot of similarities. The grade book is accessed in the course navigation panel, and so over here on the left side, you will have the grades link. If you click that, it'll bring up the default grade book. And let me get into Canvas and pull that up here in the demonstration course. The grade book is pretty much just where you're going to go to put in grades. And I say that because in Blackboard, we do a lot of different features from the grade book, like resetting quiz attempts or things of that nature. In Canvas, not so much. Really, the only thing that we'll do in the grade book is just a place to put in grades. But when I clicked on the grade book here, it brings up what is the default. There are 3 different actions up here that you can do. The first one that says gradebook will give us 2 choices, individual view or gradebook history. Individual view would be nice if you wanted to have a student come in and conference, let's say. You can pull up their name and cycle through all of their assignments just by clicking the next button. It'll bring up all of their grades, all of the feedback and conversations that you've had about it. So that's pretty useful. Also though, if you wanted to just, if you start typing up here in the box, it'll bring up whatever student you're looking for and it'll take away everybody else's. So if a student just comes in real quick and you just want to show them their grade, a pretty easy way to confidentially show them that. The other option here is gradebook history. This is something that's not really going to apply to us. It will apply more for if you had a teaching assistant, you could click this and see who graded what. But for us, it's going to be us, unfortunately. View, this is just pretty neat, I think. There's a lot of different ways you can arrange the gradebook, and it's quite a bit easier than in Blackboard where you had to go into the navigation and move stuff around. You can arrange it by assignment names or points or modules, due dates. You can filter it by assignment groups or modules. You also can see that there's some color in here, and this statuses button, if you forget what those are, will tell you blue is late, red is missing. The green will be something that was resubmitted. So if you reassigned something, it will let you know that students have turned that in a second time. And I'll show you how to do that here and what that means in just a second. But lots of a little bit easier way to move assignments around. The actions button here is just going to, at the end of the semester, you click that and export, and just like normal, you could go and make that a Excel file so that you can upload your gradebook to the portal. One of the major differences, like I was saying, is that all you do in the gradebook is grade. So if you wanted to edit the amount of points something is worth, you would go back to the assignment and do that. In Blackboard, I know you could just do it right in the column, or you could just create a column in the Blackboard gradebook. Canvas isn't that way. You would just go and create an assignment If you wanted to edit any of that stuff, you would do it through the assignments tab. So a little bit different. I just wanted to point that out. One other major difference is when you open the grade book, you'll see that the date of last attendance column and the student ID column that usually sit right over there by their names are not visible. Student IDs will show up right underneath their names. And so ours, since we're all instructors, are our login credentials. And if you wanted to turn those on or off for students, because they are default set off, so you'd have to bring that up. If you hover in the student name column here, this vertical ellipses will pop up and you can go to secondary info, username. If you don't want their ID numbers, you can just click none and it'll take them away. The other thing is the date of last attendance. So if you're doing rosters and you needed to look up when a student last attended, that is not something that's a column, but it's pretty easy. If you just click their name here, it will bring up their last login. Rebecca's was 6/28, so we know that's today. If it was, let's see if Katia logged in today, and she did a few minutes before her. But if it was, say, Wednesday, or if it said Tuesday, if you just hover over it here, it will tell you the date and time, so you can check and see. You'll see this new analytics here, and that's something else while we're talking about checking rosters or student information. New analytics is something it's quite unique to Canvas. Lots of reports that you can look at, lots of data that you can look at, and basically it allows you to track student activity. New analytics is a link and it's on the right side of the homepage. So if I go back into our demo course here, you'll see it right over there. And when you click this, you'll be able to see all sorts of data. It will show you, you can look at course grades, you can look at weekly activity, who's logged in, if you wanted to pick a particular student, you could compare them versus the average. Lots of different reports and things that you can look at in there. You can look and see on a module or an assignment specifically and see how much time people were spending on it so that you know if it's kind of in line with other assignments. Lots of graphs and charts and just a lot of specialized reports you can run that will show you different analysis for your class. You can also use that for date of last attendance. There's a lot more reports available in People as well. And one of the things that's neat about Canvas is in Blackboard, there was really no good way to track and see what a student did. In Canvas, you can see when they logged in and what they've clicked on and how many times they looked at it. And so it really is just pretty, get that out of there. Pretty neat to be able to see what a student did. I'm showing this slide here because it shows a couple of different things. The first is these colors. So like I discussed a little bit ago with the statuses, blue would be something that was submitted late. So if you're looking at a grade and you don't have to just look at the grades and see when they submitted them, you'll see that they're blue and you'll know that they were late. So if you're doing ESPs or something, that's useful. And then the red obviously sticks out there that they have not submitted those. The other thing in Canvas that's a little bit different is you cannot hide a column like you would in Blackboard after you completed grading. You can minimize it though. You can adjust the column width, and I've set it up here to show you. You can set it up to where you can still see the scores, or you can actually just shrink it down enough to get it completely. So if everyone had done this, you can just shrink that down and get it out of the way. Obviously, you can just drag it back over if you need to. So not quite the same, but it does the same purpose. One thing that is very unique to Canvas and just a pretty neat feature is the ability to set up the gradebook to automatically give zeros for missing assignments. You can also automatically apply deductions for late assignments, depending on your late policy. So to do that, when we're in the gradebook here, if you go over to the settings gear, you would click this, which is already clicked because we have it turned on already, but automatically apply grade for missing submissions. So if you have an assignment that's due tonight at midnight and you have 2 students that didn't turn it in, as soon as it's midnight, it will put zeros in there for them, and you don't even have to think about it. To turn that on, you would just click this. Now, oddly, the default for this is 100%. I'm not quite sure why, so you'd want to make sure that you just type in there and change it to 0. But that's pretty neat that you can do that, because then you don't have to, put those in manually, and students don't have a overinflated idea of what their grade is. They'll know. The other thing that you can do is, if your late policy is, let's say 10% per day, which that's not terribly uncommon, you can set this up. So you click automatically apply deduction to late submissions. Late submission deduction percentage, we're going to take off 10% per day. You could change that to hour if you wanted to. And when you do that, it will automatically grade it that way. So let's say you've got a chapter quiz or something that's just automatically graded. As soon as let's say it's 2 days late and they take it, if they got 10 out of 10, it will automatically deduct 20 and it'll give them 80. If it's 3 days late, it'll take care of that. It'll just figure it. If it's something that's not automatically graded, like this right here that I would have to grade, when I click in there, it will show me that it was late and it will tell me how late it was. So that's kind of nice. You don't have to do math. But even more than that, when I do put the grade in, it will automatically take off the 40% that it would deduct. So not a lot of thinking there, and that's kind of nice to set that up that way. If your late policy was, let's say 50%, it won't do something like that. It'll just work for percentages per days. But those are just kind of some major differences of the grade book and some similarities. When you're actually ready to grade, you're going to use a tool called SpeedGrader. And this is where you will view and grade assignments. You can just click in there and put a number in. You can use a rubric, and similar to Blackboard where all that stuff is. So SpeedGrader is what we're actually going to grade with. And you're going to access it through the grade book, obviously. When you're in the grade book, and I'm going to grade this right here, I would just click SpeedGrader. And this will come up. This one happens to be a discussion board. So I can see every single discussion that Katia has entered here. I can just go in and give it a grade if I'm just grading it. If there were and this one was late, so it automatically just put the percentage in there. If I had a rubric, there would be a button right here that would show me where the rubric is. A couple of features that it'll do up here, it'll tell me how many you've graded. So I've graded 2 out of 4 of these. It'll show you the class average as you're rolling through here. So a couple of neat things. Down here, if I want to leave feedback, I can type in the box if I want to leave feedback and submit that. I can also click right here and attach a file if I wanted to leave feedback. That was maybe a file or a picture or a map or something. Just like in the announcements and the discussion boards, there's media here as well. So I could click this and just make a video if I wanted to. Or there's also speech to text. So a few different ways to do feedback, which are kind of nice. You can also shut off student names if you want to grade anonymously. So if you've got some essays or something and you're afraid you may be biased, you can shut names off and grade. Something else that's pretty cool, very unique to Canvas, you can hide grades until you're finished grading. And so let's say I go back to the grade book here that I had 25 of whatever this is, module 4 midpoints to grade. But I really didn't want everybody to see the grade until I was done. So I'm not going to get them all done today. I could turn the grading off. I could hide grades. That way I can grade the first 10. They won't know. And after I've graded the next 10 or 15 or however many I said, you could show the grades and then everyone knows at the same time. So that's kind of a different feature. You can also reassign assignments. So we talked about how quizzes and tests have to be reset through the quizzes tool. Assignments, however, do not, and they can be reassigned right from the grade book. So let's say I was going in to grade this and it was something that they had uploaded and they uploaded the course syllabus. Well, they were supposed to upload the course guide. And I just want them to submit the right thing. If I type in a comment here and tell them that it was the wrong item and I submit this, it will allow me to reassign it. And when I push this, it'll send it back to the student with a notification to let them know that they turned in the wrong thing. Rebecca just did this just not that long ago and posted that a student had submitted something that was not the right item, and they emailed back immediately and basically said, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, and here's the right one. And it's just a really quick, convenient way to take care of that. The tests and quizzes, like we said, will be done through the quizzes function, but assignments you can reassign right from the gradebook. So that's as convenient as it was, certainly. One more thing, we're talking about when your quiz or when your classes come over and you're reconfiguring them. If you want an easy way to look and see how many points your course is worth, you can do this in Student View. So if I get out of there and I go into Student View, just like in Blackboard, you can go in and see what a student would see. If I go to grades, there's a couple reasons I'm showing you this. The first is when I come down here to the bottom, it's going to show me what their grade is, their points and percentages. Right now, they've only done turned in one thing and got a 0 out of 5 and have a 0%. This box right here is going to say calculate based on graded assignments. So that's only what I've graded. If I unclick that, it'll show me the entire semester's worth, and this course happens to have 105 points in it. So if you're double checking your course guide or your syllabus or your grade book, you can do that to be able to see how many points it's worth. The other thing is students are the ones that can turn this on and off. Instructors can't. So that's why I think it's fairly important to put zeros in. If they're calculating based on only what's graded and you don't have zeros in there, just like in Blackboard, they would see and have a inflated idea of what their grade actually is. If you're putting in zeros, it will automatically take care of it. So this slide right here is basically showing us this was a file submission that they have turned in. If you have, just like in Blackboard, if you have had the students just write in a text box, you will not have access to the grading tools. But if they were to upload a PDF or a doc or whatever, you can use all these grading tools up here, just like in Blackboard. You can mark all over it. You can drop text box and write feedback right on it and use your red pen, so to speak, to underline and circle and do all that stuff. You can use a rubric right here. You would click view rubric. The rubric would show up and you would be able to grade using that rubric. Feedback is down here. So pretty much the grading is pretty easy when you get into SpeedGrader. And I was going to come up here and get out of student view and show some of those. But again, it's just like in Blackboard in that respect. If it's something that you didn't have them submit with a file, you won't be able to use any of those functions, which are just right up here. So if office location, that's good. So you could just drop this and leave feedback right in there, just like that. Or you can get out the pen or the marker or whatever, or the highlighter, if you would like to mark on those as well. Another difference, when you go into an assignment in Blackboard to grade, it would bring up the instructions just right on the top of it. Canvas doesn't do that. It's a little bit different, but it will again serve the same purpose. So instead of going to SpeedGrader, if I go to Module 1 example assignment here, it will bring up this, which would be where all my instructions are. If I access SpeedGrader from the assignment, it will open SpeedGrader in a second tab, and then I'll be able to just easily revert back and see what the instructions were if you need to. So does the same thing, just again, it's just a different way of getting there. But SpeedGrader is certainly very user-friendly. I know that I've thrown a lot of gradebook stuff at you, and right now most of that's hypothetical because you don't have anything to grade, but you can, in your sandbox, you can go in as the test student. You can make assignments and have the test student actually do them. so that you're able to practice grading and mess with some of that. So just wanted to go over the gradebook and hit some of the highlights and some of the neat features and the differences. And I will turn it back over to you guys.
One more thing that I want to touch on, Gerald mentioned the rubrics. And if you are using a rubric to grade assignments in the Grade Center, and it's not automatically populating that grade from the rubric into the box where you would enter a student grade, that's because there's a button that is not default clicked for some reason when you attach a rubric to an assignment. And I'm going to show you really fast. I think it's on this one. So if it is not populating in that area in your Grade Center, if you go to the assignment and you edit the rubric, there's this button right down here that says use this rubric for assignment grading. You want to make sure this is clicked, or you'll have to manually type in that grade every time that you grade a student's assignment. So just wanted to touch on that really fast.
Thank you. Can you blow that screen up so I can click on links?
Yeah.
All right, so we want to talk to you guys just about some additional resources that Canvas has available. Canvas just is a huge community, and in fact has something called Canvas Community. It's basically Google for Canvas. And so anytime that folks have asked us questions and we just haven't been able to kind of figure out quickly the issue, we will go to Canvas Community and hopefully find some help. And there are lots of videos and tutorials and walkthroughs, step-by-step screenshots of different issues that you or your student might come up with. And so one thing that you can go to is this Canvas Instructor Guide Table of Content. It's part of the Canvas Community website. And you'll see there are links to all the different things that you might encounter. So for example, the announcements. So a little bit of what we walked through, but even more. On the assignments, there's everything from how do I adjust an assignment to how do I assign this just one student the assignment. So always reach out to us if you have questions. But if you're maybe working on your class at 2 o'clock in the morning, or you just want to see if you can troubleshoot your issue, this is a great place to start. We also have our YouTube channel, our Allen Community College Teaching and Learning YouTube channel. Right now it's kind of full of Blackboard videos, but as we are creating them for Canvas for both students and instructors, you'll see more videos there. We did change our tech support email from BB Help to tech support. We made that change in Canvas, and so you'll see that referred to in Canvas. But as you are updating your courses and your syllabi, please make sure to replace BB Help with tech support. We are still sending all the emails from BB Help to tech support, so students are still getting served, but this way they just have one email address they need to remember. Another resource that's really helpful, especially if you're looking for a new type of an assignment or you're designing a course with us, is the Canvas Commons. And you'll find this link in the global navigation of Canvas. And there's going to be a search box that pops up here, and you can type in any any subject matter or something really specific. So what do you do, biology? And so this will bring up anything from an entire biology course to a quiz, to a specific assignment, to a module that other users have just put out in Canvas Commons to share. So if you're looking for something specific, you can find all sorts of resources here. So it's a fun place to kind of play around. And you can even import that assignment or module straight into your sandbox or your course, and then adjust it for how it would meet our students' needs. And the Canvas apps, if you have not downloaded the teacher app for Canvas, I would encourage you to do so. It's really helpful and really useful. I think a lot of our students are already using the app, so definitely check that out. And then we are also developing, like Sherry mentioned, a Center for Teaching Innovation. And this is going to be on our Canvas LMS system. And it's just going to be a great place for you guys to do some self-paced courses. There's going to be all sorts of resources there for you guys to use. So we're excited about that. And we'll be enrolling you all in that as soon as it's ready. But I wanted to take a few moments. If you had emailed me and you needed help logging in, I think I have all of that. So if you are still having trouble logging in, please let me know. But I just wanted to take a few minutes and open it up for any questions.
This has been a really helpful training. I just wanted to say that. This has been one of the most helpful trainings I've been to in a while.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for coming tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll stick around for a few minutes if you think of something. But again, we really do appreciate your time and coming to the training. And like I said, I will be sending you all this PowerPoint presentation tomorrow morning along with a checklist. We usually send you all a checklist. It's kind of a how to get your class ready for the semester. And this is going to be similar with a bit of a twist. It's going to be how to get your class ready for the first time in Canvas. Like Katia mentioned, we moved a lot of courses over. And so it's just a few things to double check. Are the allowed attempts set up right? Is the to-do list set up right? Things like that. So you'll also find that checklist in an email from me tomorrow. So anyways, well, does anyone else have anything?
No, thanks for
Okay.
joining us.
Thanks for
We
coming.
appreciate your time.
Have a good rest of your evening.